Today I came to my other branch of my university. My faculty is at here, but I'm living in another branch because my dormitory is there. And so I often come here to visit my professor and give some lecture to some PhD students. And today I had some bureaucratic, like a signature thing that I had to do with some office worker in our faculty. And so I had some news from my classmate that he had some issue with his supervisor, and so he cannot extend his PhD. So he was asking me like what to do and if I know anything about it, and I said I'm not sure, and I just told him that he should kindly ask his professor to extend, because it's really impossible to, especially for some people, like also for me, it's impossible to graduate in 3 years, especially if you are starting from the beginning, or if you change your major or something. And this guy has a family, he has 2 kids, and he's working at the same time, so it's even more difficult for him. I don't have a family responsibility, and another classmate of mine, he had his dormitory problem. The school asked him to leave the dormitory, so he should rent a house outside, because he invited his country-mate from his country came here and he was living with him. And before he got the plane, some office workers, they went to supervise all the dormitories, and they realized that there was a foreigner living in a house in a room that was my classmate supposed to be, but he was in the office, and so he let his countrymate to sleep in his room. So they realized this is anti-rules, against the rules, and so they asked him to leave the dormitory. So I recently realized there are so many problems happening in many people's lives. Like every one of us has some problem that we are going through, and I feel like, I don't know, there is a reason for everything. Sometimes it's because it's our problem, like we make the mistake, we kind of create problem for ourselves. Sometimes we are not so conscious of what we are doing. Sometimes, I don't know, sometimes we just need to accept, maybe it's difficult for us to lose our ego, get rid of our ego, and we just resist the flow. We just don't want to go with the flow. We just want to go anti-flow. And so today I felt like maybe we should just go with the flow. And I told him that, I told my classmate that, and even recently there was a teacher that I've known. He's very young, so I can talk to him about my personal issues, my personal concern with him, because he's a very young teacher. So I thought I can talk to him like a friend. And I told him that I was feeling like an imposter, and he said he was also feeling, although he's a teacher, he's a tenure in the university, but he said that don't worry, everyone feels like that. He said although he already has a position, he got a position in the university, but there is so much competition even between the tenures, because they also compete with each other about who published the most papers. And so he said he doesn't have much published papers. He just enjoys more about social life. Like, I don't know how to say. He said it to me very clearly, but now I don't know how to put it into words. He said he likes to be in the field, like he just wants to interview people, because he said that he doesn't like to use numbers. Instead, he wants to use interviews and case studies. He enjoys case studies more. And I said that's what I don't like about case studies, but he enjoys. So it's for him. This kind of interviews, it takes really long time, and that's why it also takes long time for him to publish papers. And so we were talking about our common tragedies. So I was feeling I was saying that I was feeling imposter, and he said sometimes, time to time, he feels so. And today just to comfort my classmate, I told him that, kindly talk to your teacher and, ask him to extend your PhD. But later I said, what, maybe we are wasting time. And I said, sometimes I feel like I'm wasting my years. Although I'm not sure, because I feel like I'm doing progress, like there is some progress. Because to be honest, I'm not really wasting my years, because at the same time I don't feel like I'm wasting my years, because I do teach, because my professor wants me to get experience so that she can kind of help me, because I have also the language advantage and some other knowledge advantage, because I had a few majors and I can combine when I teach. So she kind of asked me to give classes to bachelor degree students and sometimes PhD students, so that I can have experience. That is what I'm really grateful for, because she kind of gives me the opportunity to improve myself. Although sometimes I feel like I'm kind of wasting my times, because I could spend those times researching instead of going to those classes. But at the same time, those experiences are more priceless, because especially for me, like, I want to be a lecturer, so I think I need such kind of experience. Because some people, although I also enjoy behind the work, like behind the scene experience, like experience, like just researching and publishing papers, although I haven't yet. And one of my paper I sent was rejected. Actually, this is my third paper was rejected. And because I don't have much experience in publishing, and so I always depend on myself, and I always send the papers to some journals, and I just wait whether they give me some feedback. Sometimes I just feel so impatient and I just want it to happen right away, but it doesn't happen like that, especially editing and all those things. It's a headache. For me, it's a headache. And so after being rejected, I feel even more dismotivated. But that teacher, the young teacher that I recently talked to, he also told me that his paper, like so many countless papers, rejected. So he told me that he can understand that it's really dismotivating, but he just told me, he just gave me so much courage and motivation. I felt really so grateful that he was so kind at that time. It was last week. So right now I feel like many people are going through some tough things in their life. There are people also going through tough times in their relationship. My sister, she wants to divorce, but her husband doesn't divorce. So I feel like everyone going through some really tough times these days. And it's just sometimes I feel like we should, just like these fishes, we should go with the flow. Like, yeah, we are human. We have egos. We have desires. And ego is hiding in everywhere, in every part of our lives. We don't want to lose face, so-called losing face. But in fact, we don't really lose face. Like, nobody care. Everyone just care about themselves. Like, nobody really care about your life. Nobody care about my life. Only I care about my life. But we always feel like people are looking at us. People are always observing us. People are always seeking to see our fall or something, but in fact it's not. Like, nobody really cares. It's just that we just put it in our eyes so big, as though we are the most important thing. Like, we kind of become so egocentric that we think that we are the most important people, so everyone is looking for us, everyone is secretly stalking us or seeking our fall or something, but in fact it's not. So I don't know, like, I was watching all these fishes and I felt like maybe we should just go with the flow. When there's some blockages, maybe we should, if it's not something serious, we should find a way to get rid of those blockages. But if some reason the blockages happen over and over, maybe this is a sign that that's not our way. Maybe we should change the direction. For now, although there are some difficulties in my life in some aspect, in research and in publishing, all those things, but I feel like I'm doing my best. I can say from my heart, like, I'm sincere to myself. But if I feel like there is so many blockages that I cannot get rid of, I don't think I will. Maybe I will have some sadness that I couldn't achieve this thing. But I think I will be more accepting and maybe more receptive to try some other things in my life. And so I don't know, like, in relationships, in work, in daily life, if there are some problems that we don't think we can win, so maybe it's time for us to change our direction, just like these fishes. It's not a big deal to change our life right now. Like, we are never wasting time, actually, because every day we learn something new, even if it's something so small, but it might be really big in the hindsight. Like, to our eyes, certain things seem so big, like having a degree, having a position, a title. Yeah, these are some, like, looks very big in our eyes, and they are big because it's a big achievement. But we always underestimate some daily achievements, like, I don't know, like, maybe you learn something new and it's changed your subconscious, it's changed part of subconscious that was heavy in the past. But that is actually might be one of the biggest achievements that you might have passed. But because you don't see it with your eyes, it looks very unimportant. Because we only care about what we see. We don't really care about what's going on invisibly in our lives.